Hello, hello, you should hear my voice, hopefully, as I turn down the music. How does this sound? Background music, my voice. All good? Hey, what's up? How's it going, everybody? So, hey Toma, how's it going? Gabriel and Robert and Nate are all here. Welcome! Good morning, thanks for merging your PR. Yeah, for sure. So, this stream I labeled about Git and GitHub because I know it's a frequent question people have when contributing to open source projects, and it's something that you have to understand for like Git and GitHub, and like you literally actually have to understand it for contributing to open source projects. So, because of that, I was like, okay, let's just go through everything for what it looks like when you fork a repo, clone it, do something, and update everything. So that's what we are going to be doing. I am going to drop a link here. Which one? Well, here is one. So that is my Buy Me a Coffee link. So if anybody enjoys the stream and whatever you learn here, you can buy me a coffee and it's gonna show up on the screen, which is fun. But let's switch over and first talk about what this whole thing kind of is. So this is Hacktoberfest. So Hacktoberfest is an like event sort of online to contribute to open source projects. So what I do is you go here, you can learn about Hacktoberfest and how you participate. So you basically click start hacking and then your profile will open up, and your goal is to get 4 PRs merged into some kind of open source repo is the goal of Hacktoberfest. So this year what I did was host a project for Hacktoberfest. Does this say anything? Not really, it doesn't really say anything else. So here, this is my project under my profile. So what you can do is fork this repo and begin contributing to my project that I am the maintainer of. And as you can see, today is October 21st, and we have had 40 contributors already, which is absolutely wild. That is so many, and way more than I was expecting. So let's go through basically all the steps of what you would do as a participant for like contributing to this. So the first thing you're gonna do, yeah, that's the intro. Okay, so I'm not sure how long this stream is gonna be. So feel free to ask questions in the middle and just as I'm going, and I'm just going to keep on going, answer questions as I go, and then we will be, I don't know, doing Q&A at the end, sort of. I don't really have any solid plans past like going through all these different steps. So I have my Hacktoberfest shirt on that I got in 2020, and sadly they don't give shirts out anymore, but I only got one. So I got like the one shirt, the very first year I did it, and then I just didn't vote to get a shirt ever again. I just did what did they do last time? Did they do digital badges last time, I think? Or it was, I don't remember what they did last time. I think it was also digital badges, but they still had the shirt. So this is the first year you don't get a shirt. If you get everything, you just get like a digital pack thing. And then I have my lovely, gigantic Oktoberfest mug that I got when I was in Munich. And this holds 1 liter, so I just have 1 liter of water in this gigantic mug, because I think drinking a liter of coffee would kind of be crazy. So that is what we're gonna be doing. Let me know still if the music is too loud or not loud enough. It should be like background music, and then you should be able to hear me. Okay, so first thing you want to do as a contributor is read the README. So read everything that is in here. I wrote it for a reason, especially like all these issue labels. You can see all the people who contributed, and you get all the little star history, which is fun, seeing how many people have started the repo over time. But first step is always just read. Music is a little loud. Okay. Turned it down a little bit. Wally, how is that? Read the README, because that is why it's there, and it has all the information. So read the code of conduct as well. The contributing file has even more information than the README to get started, so like read through the README, you can follow this, and then go through and read contributing would be the best way to do it. So the first thing you want to do though is fork. So click this button that says fork. I'm not going to do it because I already did it. And as you can see, we don't have my little unicorn picture here because right now I'm actually logged into a different GitHub account that I have. So here is my fork. I am logged in. Yeah, like there's not even a profile picture on this one. This was an account that I used for, oh, what was it? A Code with Chris tutorial that I did on GitHub actually. So I forked this the other night ago, and you can already see that says this branch is 7 commits behind Mikaela Caron dev. And what that means is since the time I forked the repo, there have been changes on the main repo, the original one over here. There have been changes on that since the time I forked it. So my fork is now like out of date is what that means. So what you want to do then, because this will just happen pretty much daily at the moment because I'm merging PRs like pretty much every single day. So what you do is you have to sync your fork. So syncing and forking is we are just copying this repo and creating our own repo on our own profile. And the reason we have to do a fork rather than just immediately go and clone the repo is because you do not have access to my repo. So like you don't see settings and you can't really create your own branch on this repo because it's mine. So you don't have access to it and it's public. So like I'm not gonna, as you can see, there's been 40 contributors. I'm not adding everybody individually on the repo. So because of that, what you have to do is fork the repo, make your own copy of it under your own profile. And you can see this username is Mikaela Caron CWC because this was for like Code with Chris. And then now we have a copy of the basic car maintenance, and you can see it says forked from. If we click on this, it'll take us back to the original repo. So that's the first step, is we have forked the repo. And I am writing down 15. I'm writing down the times that I'm doing this because I'm really, eventually I need to get better at this, like time stamping all of my streams. I've done it with most of the Hacktoberfest ones, but I haven't sort of after that. So there we go. That is step 1. If you have any questions on what a fork means or anything, drop that in the chat. If you don't have a question, click the little heart button. Because you don't see that anywhere, I think, except the chat, so it kind of doesn't matter that much. But you can click the heart button so I can at least see it. I saw 1 heart. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so that is forking. The second step after that, okay, we have the repo in GitHub on our own profile here. Now we have to edit it in some way. So now we have to clone the repo to our local machine. So GitHub is like your cloud, also called a remote repo, and cloning puts this repo and this code on our actual computer, which people call like your local machine. So I typically have this kind of small. So that should be bigger. Yeah, you can see that. Hopefully. Let me know if you can't see the terminal. I usually make it like pretty small, but there we go. Okay, so what we want to do is clone. Typically, you will type git clone and do this HTTPS one. That is like the main way people clone to their computer usually. I use what's called the GitHub CLI. So this gives you, instead of typing git clone and then pasting this link, I just can type gh repo clone, but you have to install this. So you can click like learn more and install that, and that would be the way to do that. But most people will do HTTPS. It kind of just depends on how you set it up on your computer. I honestly really like the GitHub CLI because I use it a lot for maintaining the repo more so than like as a regular like person contributing code. Is cloning the same as checking out a branch? No, it is not. So that will be the next step we'll get to in just a second, so I'll be sure to explain the difference. So think of right now, cloning is all we're doing is the code is on GitHub right now, and we want to put it onto our machine. That is cloning it. So I can type gh repo clone, or you would type git clone. Whoops, we're not gonna type. Actually, do I want to type this? Click that. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna click this sync button. So before I clone it, I am going to click this sync fork button because you can see it says this branch is 7 commits behind dev. Because from the time I actually forked this, which I don't remember when that was, but apparently I have merged like 7 more PRs since then. So we'll get to this in a second. I'll show like the whole scenario where you'll actually really see this happen. But also, like you may fork the repo, you may have not done anything yet at all, but me, I'm still, as the maintainer, merging code and everything. And as you can see, if you go back to the main repo, there's like 11 PRs open right now. This 100% is something you will see happen because I'm just merging stuff so quickly right now, it's still getting out of date. So before we even clone it just yet, let's click this sync button. And sync just means the original repo has new changes, our fork needs those changes as well. So we just click update branch, and this will update the sync, or update the fork, sorry. Okay, so it says successfully fetched and fast forwarded from upstream, Mikaela Caron dev. And now it says this branch is up to date. So that is what you want to see. And then I will go through when you see this issue happen again. But we just sync that. Let's now clone it. So it is on the machine. And let me know, you should be able to see the terminal pretty clearly. I made the font like really big than I normally do. Okay, so let's cd into basic carm maintenance. Okay, so now we are on the dev branch. Because you can see right here too, the only branch we even got from the original repo is the dev branch, because I made that one as the maintainer. I made that the default. As opposed to, if we go back to the original repo, there's actually 3. You don't ever need main. I'm doing that as like, this is the code that's on the App Store, even though we don't have code up there yet. And then that's me working on fixing an issue that I have not done yet. So we just clone the repo, meaning the code is now on our computer. But before we open Xcode, we need to fix the repo because of how I set everything up with how code signing works and all sorts of crazy things. You have to do something first. So before we even open this, if we read through the README, like good contributors that we are, we go here and see read, fork, done, clone, done, do not open Xcode yet, done. We have not done it yet. Okay, in the same folder that contains this xcconfig template, we see that right here, run this command. So everybody will copy and run. We hit enter, and what that did was copy this folder and copy that file and make a new file. So if we type ls again, yeah, you can still see that. We have this template, and then when we ran that command, it created a new file for us, this xcconfig, that wasn't there before. And so once we do that, now we can open Xcode. So if we type xed space period, that like opens Xcode for us. Let's switch this to an iPhone 15 Pro is typically what I run on. And so here we see the whole repo and everything, and you get this file called basic car maintenance xc config. And then what you do is read the instructions here, and it tells you to fill in the bundle ID and your team ID. I think, let's see, I haven't done this in a while because I don't need to, you know, because it's my project. Let's see what happens if we keep this as ABC123. I want to see if it builds. I'm not sure. But really, you would go to App Store, Connect, or like the Apple developer account, and you can find this, what this should be. Let's see. Let's build it and see what happens. So, Timothy, we are still not yet at that step. We are just making the project build right now. Okay, it says build. Cool, build succeeded. Okay, now we can open Xcode, which is what I did. Oh, I should switch this. You should open Xcode after you run that command. I'll switch that. But we built the project, build, and then now this is the checkout step. So what we would do is go to the main repo, look through the issues. Oh, that's fun. This is like want to contribute. If you have an idea, read that. Otherwise, we've collected some good issues for you. What does that show? Okay, each issue displayed here is a good first issue. Oh, cool. Okay, so what we want to do is go here. You can find assignee and look for assigned to nobody. That would be the best way to find a new issue because I am doing it where it's only one issue per person. So let's pretend we're doing 197. So what we would do, we would go on here, and you can see this is not my unicorn because this is my other account that I'm using. We would go on here and be like, hey, I want to work on this issue. Please assign it to me. I'm not going to click comment, but that's what you would do, is go and comment on what issue you want to work on. So let's pretend that I am going to work on this issue though. So we have then commented on it. I will go through and assign people those issues, but you can begin working on it as long as like you're the first person to comment on it. Then you're pretty much good to start working on it. And you don't have to wait for me to assign it. But yeah, so let's pretend we're going to do this. And the second step is now what Timothy mentioned is I'm writing down times to do. Now we want to check out a branch. So what we have done is we are on the dev branch. Well, when we start contributing code, we don't want to contribute to dev. We need to make a new branch. So that is where you type git branch. And what issue are we working on? We're doing 197. So let's just call this 197-analytics. The branch name is not terribly important. I did write some steps in the original repo for ways to, where'd we go? If you go and read the contributing, read this, and it gives you ideas of what you can name your branches and a good name for them, but the branch name is not terribly important. Why do I get a deployed documentation? Oh no, the little heart is, oh my gosh, hang on. Error. The very last word of your comment had the little heart thing, was like covering it up. Hang on, let me see if I can make this wider. Okay, well, it still low-key happens everywhere. Okay, there we go. Why did I get a deploy documentation error in the workflow after pushing? I'm not sure, probably because, oh, actually, I know why. It's probably because that workflow is not really set up for your machine. It's set up for, like, specifically for my repo, so that's probably where the error is coming from. But I wouldn't worry about it. The deploy documentation is, if we go back to the main repo, click on this link here. This is the documentation. So this code base is not fully documented, but one model is documented. So here, like, a model representing a contributor. And then here's an overview of everything and all the initializers, and there's comments by all the different properties. This is the what's called doc.c documentation, and that is automatically deployed every time I merge commits into dev, but I guess it's also when you push. I can double check that, but don't worry about it. It's because it's set up for literally my repo itself, like the main repo. That's probably why it doesn't work. So just don't worry about it. And what else? Okay, we were making a branch. Okay, so let's assume we are working on this issue 197. We could look over here. We are working on issue 197. So what we want to do is make a new branch and checking out a new branch. So we are making the branch with git branch 197 analytics, hit enter. It looks like nothing happened, but if we type git branch and now hit enter, we can see now we have two branches. We have dev and 197 analytics. But you can still see dev is highlighted and has a star by it. We are still on the dev branch. So we need to check out the new branch, git checkout 197 analytics. And now you can see the way I have my terminal set up. You can clearly see that we're on a new branch, but if we also type git branch, now you can see after we have checked out the branch, we are now on 197 analytics and we are no longer on dev as we were up here. So Timothy, does that make sense how that works? But now you can see we have checked out the newly created branch that we just made. So we are on a new branch, and we can also go over to Xcode and we can see it's really tiny. I don't know if you all can see it, plus my name's kind of in the way there. Right here under like the project name, it says 197 analytics. I don't know if you could probably not see that. It's really small. But you could also see it in... Yeah, you can see it. You can find it. What tool do you use to see branch in your terminal? So you don't... Oh, so this thing. I use a plugin called ohmyz.sh. And this, you can install it. If you click install, it brings you down the website. You just copy that whole thing and paste it in your terminal and it will install. So this, you can kind of see it basically, it's like ways to put like themes and stuff on your repo. I don't put a ton of stuff. I can't even remember if this is the default, what do you call it? The default theme anyways too. But what's nice is it says basic car maintenance. It doesn't have like my name and it doesn't have like the whole beginning of whatever directory you're in. It just has the current one that you're in. And then it shows you the branch name, which I find very useful. So I do that, and then you can see I have this autocomplete. That is a different thing called fig.io. It is the next generation command line, and actually they just got acquired by Amazon. And so with that, it just has autocomplete. So when I start typing things like git branch, you can see it shows you list, create, or delete branches. It shows you like what that command does. Hey Kevin, how's it going? And Timothy, yes, you think so? Is that done on the Mac terminal or on GitHub? Okay, so we have created a branch and this is all local right now. So everything we have done, well, after cloning, the only thing we've done is make a branch. That is all locally on our computer. It is not yet on GitHub because we can go to the GitHub repo for this, you know, side user that I have, and it still says one branch. So I will do that, but Kevin, you're doing good. Finally catch a stream, but you need to make a test. Okay, yeah, it's so funny. The very last words of people are getting cut off by like the little heart thing. Can I even react if I put like this 100? Do you all see that too? If I click it? That's so funny. Yeah, it's the last word gets cut off because they put a popover thing on top. But you need to make a test. Ooh, good luck. What do you use to make tests? Do people like use Google Docs and just like make a document? Kevin's a teacher, for anybody who's wondering. Well, are you officially a professor? I don't know what the specific difference is, but you are making a test for students. Okay, so what we have done is we have made a branch, and it is locally on our computer, because we can type git branch, and we see we are on 197 analytics. We are not checked out to dev, but that branch is not on GitHub, because this branch is only local to our machine. You are a professor. Okay, gotcha. And so what we want to do, we would have done this anyways, because you asked. I will do it right now, but I was going to do it later, but it actually does not matter at what point I do this. So this branch has been created locally on our computer. We need to have this branch also put on GitHub. So what we will do is you can type git push, but you will see if we just type git push, we say we get this fatal something, it has said something. Fatal, the current branch 197 analytics has no upstream branch. To push the current branch and set the remote as upstream, use that. So to have this automatically happen for branches without tracking upstream, we can set a config. That's probably a good thing to do eventually. I'm not going to do this, but if you copy this command, paste it, and hit enter, the same thing will happen. I think, yeah, I'm gonna use the shorthand of this, which is we type git push -u. Okay, yeah, -u does the exact same thing as set upstream. Origin 197 analytics. So what this is actually saying is we tried to push our branch directly to GitHub, but this Git doesn't know like what this is, as in like what we're doing basically. So we have to explicitly, well, one thing we could have done is we have to explicitly say, where are we pushing this branch? We are pushing it to the origin. And then we would have to say, what is the branch name? So we were saying git push origin 197 analytics. So we had to type out the whole thing. Where are we pushing this branch to? Origin is the name of this remote. And then 197 analytics, that is the branch name. So we didn't directly copy this. You should. That is the best way to do this. But if you just explicitly type this out, this will work, but it does not set the upstream, is what that means. Is one thing it doesn't do if you don't type that part explicitly. So Robert, can you set the code editor settings per project? What are the editor settings indentations in this project? I don't think so. I think this is actually, you have to set up Xcode settings for every project. Because I think Xcode doesn't let you do that. But the default is 4 spaces for indentation. So you would set that up. And I mentioned that in the contributing file, if you go to that. Make questions on a Word doc and then putting in your online learning system. That makes sense. Hey Omar, how's it going? Hope everybody is doing great. We are all learning step by step how to do Git. So you have already figured this out, I know, because you've made several PRs, but we will all figure this out together. Plus, then now I have a stream I can point people towards if they want to watch probably a long version of this. We'll see. I'm not recording this. I probably should have. I totally could have recorded this and made it into a YouTube video or something, but oh well. Maybe I'll do it later. Okay, so we have done git push origin analytics. So I am not including this set upstream, which basically just means I still would not be able to type git push. I would continually get this error. I would have to always type out origin analytics. So what setting the upstream does is makes it so you can then just type git push and you don't have to explicitly spell out everything again. So I'll just do that. And then you'll see as we get around, remote rejected, permission denied. Ooh, that. is not good. Ooh, I know. Oh geez, this is funny. I know what this is. So what is happening? I was not expecting that. I didn't think about this. Is I'm using the GitHub CLI and it is logged in to my account. And right here, I am logged in on a different account. And I don't have mine set up to do that. So if you set up Git, which is something you actually have to do that I did not take into account on this machine, then when you would have typed that command, then it would have worked. But I did not take that into account. So I need to go to my settings, and I'm not going to show all of you this because you can find it in their docs. But, oh, and I'll have to remember to switch this back eventually too. I need to log in my terminal under this account because it's on, of course, it's on my main account because that's the account that I use all the time. I don't use this account. Okay, what do I need? I need repo. I did not think about this part. The more errors, the better. It is true. I am not showing this part. The only reason I'm not showing this part is because it's like on my actual private settings that like if I showed you, people would have access to it. So that's why it's not on the screen. I'll just switch it to me actually while we're doing this because you can just see me. But actually, and if I do it that way, then too, I can keep this over here. Oh gosh, I need my cell phone. So like, yeah, I'm going through the actual settings and creating, what do they call it? It's a personal access token. Come on. What to do? I don't need that. Okay. Where did my live stream go? And also, hi Michael, how's it going? Okay, I need to do ghauth GitHub this. Ooh, okay, cool. That like figured it out. Interesting, but cool. Okay, so now I'm logged in. Let me close this because you don't need to see that part. And we are back here. So what we just tried to do was type git push. It did not work at first because we have not set the upstream part. And if any of these terms are kind of confusing also, look at like an actual basic Git tutorial. I did one on Code with Chris's channel. I can't remember if that's behind the paywall or not. And there's a lot of Git tutorials because it's something that like it's a common thing in software development. So like people have made many tutorials on it. Actually, go to my YouTube channel. I do have a video of a conference talk talking about everything, but I don't actually go into depth for the very specific thing we were talking about now, which is setting the upstream. But you can Google and figure out like more in depth what exactly that is. Okay, is there a way to resolve the error with Xcode able to find the included xcconfig search path? Okay, so look at the video at the beginning or so where I actually did this, but if you just type ls, if you are in the basic ARM maintenance repo, like pretty much the main folder, you should at first only see this file, the xcconfig template. When you run this command cp, which just means copy. This copies this template and makes a new file called xcconfig. And once you do that, it will work. But what you have to do is follow this. Do not open Xcode before you do that command. That's the key. So it seems like, Timothy, I'm guessing you opened Xcode already. Don't. Close it. Check that the file's not there. And then open it again. Or, honestly, go back. You won't do it live. If you are following along live, kind of just keep going. Or, like, write down the commands and stuff that I'm doing, because I do a lot of this via terminal versus, yes, you can do it with a GUI. But I do it via terminal because it's very explicit. Plus, terminals, the GUI between every single one changes depending on which one you're using, so it could be more confusing, versus these Git commands are the exact same for everybody. But otherwise, I would say if you want to still watch live, keep on watching live, go back to the very beginning of this stream where I did this part. Okay, so we are on here. So we tried to type git push. If we type git push, we get this error that says fatal. The current branch has no upstream branch. Actually, you know what that really probably means exactly is that there is no GitHub branch for 197 Analytics because we haven't put it there yet. That's what we're trying to do. So we can type git push. We can do one thing, which is type git push origin 197 Analytics. So this says, where do we want to push this branch? We want to push it to the origin remote, and then that is the branch name. Or this is the correct way that I'm doing this. Okay, the correct way is also adding this set upstream. I'm explicitly not doing this because you'll see we'll run into it again. So if we type git push this, so if we hit enter now, hopefully, should work. Okay, it did. It says blah, 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 blah. New branch 197 Analytics. And this is on github.com, Mikaela Caron CWC, because this is my other account. Basic ARM maintenance. So if we go to GitHub, hit refresh. Now it says two branches. We have dev and we have 197 Analytics. You don't have to do this protect your branch thing. I have it on my actual repo, but you don't need this on... Oh, switchback. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. My bad. Oh, well, I already closed it. Okay, so all I did was, what I was saying, was we type git push, we get this issue again that says git push set upstream. We still have this fatal error, but what we can do is type only git push origin 197 Analytics. You should copy this. Like, literally copy this, do it, and you will be fine. But I'm explicitly not doing this because you'll see we will run into it again, I believe. So I just type git push origin 197 Analytics, and then it says new branch, and now we can go to GitHub, we refresh it, and we see 197 Analytics. So what that is we have created the branch locally, and now we have pushed this branch also to be on our GitHub repo, and this one is the fork of the original project. On a separate project, you're learning the hard way not to store Git controlled project files in iCloud folder. Ooh, yes, I have heard that does not work because, for one, Git files changes a lot, but also there's not really a need to have any kind of GitHub repo also on iCloud because it's already being backed up for Git. So you don't need to also back it up on iCloud. Plus, just how syncing and stuff works, you shouldn't really ever do development on some folder that's like cloud backed up. Because if you're using Git, which you should for like every project, you don't need to, for one. And then for two, because of how syncing works, and also like Xcode builds a bunch of other files as well, you don't need to have a lot of those backed up. Okay, so we have made a branch, and we have made the branch locally, and we have pushed it to GitHub. We have pushed it to GitHub on our fork. So we see dev 197 analytics on this, like, almost like a burner account, basically, a GitHub account that I have. If we went back to the original repo that's like has my unicorn, we don't see our branch 197 analytics because it's not on the main repo. It is on our fork. So that's all we've done here. So let's make a code change. Did I still have it open? What is this issue again? Oh, that is not the same one. Oh, because we're looking at PRs, that's why. So what I wanted to do with this was, I don't know why I'm coughing so much, it's annoying. Create a new file. So if somebody wants to work on this, I can point them to this stream and we are mostly gonna do some of this. I see now that I did a few steps wrong starting out. Yep. I know that you did, not like to call you out, but I know you did because I know how this does work and I know a lot of the errors that come up when you do those steps incorrectly. So like, it's okay. That's part of why I have this repo is so we can all learn. For one, everybody needs to read the instructions. That is probably the top thing I think people learn out of this. Second thing is you learn how to use Git. But okay, let's pretend like we are doing this issue. I want to create a new file called Firebase Analytics extension in the utilities folder. So if we open up basic car maintenance, shared, utilities, new file, we're making a Swift file. This is the new file I want to create. So you could commit now, and I'm going to. So let's type git status. So this is more of a git kind of thing. Where are we? 4911. Because I am trying to, I'll go back and try to timestamp all of this. So this is something you will see when you type git status. It always tells you, I should have typed it before we made a change, but this will show you what has changed. So we have a new file called Firebase Analytics, and then also this PBX project file has changed. If we type git diff, we can see what the exact changes are, but the PBX project file is basically how all of these files are like put together in the Xcode project. So we can see Firebase Analytics, we have a new one here because we've created a new file. We have the same thing here because we created a new file. There's another one, and that's the end. That is what we should see. If you do this incorrectly when you set up the project, you would have probably seen the, where'd it go? You would have seen the basic car maintenance xcconfig also show up in that PBX project file. If you do see that, that means you did it wrong. So go back, just delete the local clone that you did, and go and clone it again. Just start over. That's the best way to do that. And start over, read the instructions, and you'll figure out if you did a step wrong. So Timothy, if you want to say, you can tell us what you did wrong. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. And just say you messed up one of the steps, which you've already said, so that's fine. But if you tell somebody what you did do wrong, then somebody who's listening can follow along and see, did they also do that step wrong? But if not, that is totally fine. But we can see this is correct because we did not see anything other than referencing Firebase Analytics. So let's commit this. So if we type git commit, oh, hang on. Please hold again. I was gonna type git commit, but if I would have typed git commit, this would have been messed up because okay, if I would have typed git commit immediately, this goes back to how I have Git set up, and I'm now using a different login that I was using before, and it would have used the wrong email, and I think it would have looked weird on GitHub. Hopefully I did this correctly. I don't switch my Git setup that often, Good thing I remembered that one though, because that would have been weird. But we will find out if I did this correctly very soon. Okay, so let's go back, type git status. Okay, we have this one thing changed. So we can type git add. I have this autocomplete, which is super nice, so I did not have to type out that whole file name, but you would have. Or if you just type git add period, that would automatically add everything to commit. Could you do a git restore instead of cloning again? Technically, yes. Wouldn't be a git restore. You'd have to do a git reset, but that can get weird. You would have had to reset back to the specific commit before you did anything. But just cloning again is definitely the easiest. But also, as you saw, we didn't do any git commands. So you would not really, I think, even be able to do a reset. I think you could do a reset, but cloning is definitely the easiest because it just sets it back to the beginning. Because you're literally deleting it and downloading it again. Okay, so we type git status. So yeah, you can see I typed GST here rather than typing out the word git status, because one of the things that comes with the oh my ZSH thing that I shared earlier, that gives you what are called aliases. So I can type GST rather than typing out git status, and that is just a shorthand. Okay, our two things to commit are the PBX project file and the Firebase Analytics. We've already looked at this as the right thing to, the right things have been changed, yeah. So now we can commit. So let's type git commit -m. So what do we want to commit? We create new file Firebase Analytics plus extension. Okay, so says committed. We type git status now, and this is what you typically see on branch working directory clean. But here, let's, on GitHub, switch from dev, go back to 197 analytics, and we see this branch is up to date, which is good, but we don't see our new commit. So if we did git log, I'm gonna do this so you don't see everyone's email, even though technically you can. We see created one new file. So we see that, and then a bunch of words, log analytics on the odometer view. So we see log analytics on the odometer view. That is the last commit before our commit here. So we need to push our commit up to GitHub, and also see this says upstream, blah, 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 origin. Don't worry about this, but these are basically just all the different remotes. Okay, you didn't check out branch correctly, and you didn't handle the xcconfig as instructed because it wasn't working. Most of what you did wrong was to skip, you were skipping steps, and that's what you had trouble with. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, see, that's why. The thing that I think most people will learn out of this is read the instructions. It sounds easy, but if you don't know what you're doing, it is hard. But also, reading instructions, because if you're in like an actual work environment setting up your computer for the first time, typically they'll have like onboarding instructions, because like the first week, sometimes even the first day, mostly the first day, but sometimes it stretches the entire week, is all you're doing is figuring out how to set up your computer for like whatever dev environment that company has. Okay, so we did that. Now, if I just type git push, look, we get the same error again, because I did not set the upstream, and I did that on purpose so that you would see us getting this error again. So now I will set the upstream. So you can copy this directly, or there's another shorthand of git push -u, and it does the same thing. And so, okay, now it works. So if we refresh GitHub again, and notice we're still on the fork because you don't see my unicorn, this is one branch ahead of Mikaela Caron dev, which is fine, because we are on the 197 analytics branch right now. And so we set the upstream, so I'll show you the next time we type git push. I mean, we could type it right now and nothing happens. It just says everything up to date. But the next time we type git push, we do not have to spell out origin 197 analytics again. So let's make this change. What was the change I wanted to do? I think I wanted to import Swift UI and then extension. Yes, was this what I want to do? And we also analytics Swift func. I put it in this exactly what I wanted to call it. Analytics view. That takes in a name string. Let's call it, actually we'll call it a view. Let's be very explicit, call it view name. And you still haven't been able to get Homebrew to install SwiftLint. That is surprising. So if you do, you have Homebrew installed properly, right? So if you have Homebrew installed properly, which is brew.sh, by the way. So you go to Homebrew, click the copy button, and just paste that in here. That will install it. As long as that all goes correctly. So if you also install Homebrew, I think you have to do one other thing to set that up correctly, which I think are in the instructions. Then make sure you quit terminal and open it again, and then type the SwiftLint stuff. But also brew.sh. Does it have anything else? Maybe. No, you could not get Homebrew. Okay, if you can't get it with this command, that's one way. Otherwise, what is it? Okay, but this command failed on your computer, is what you're saying? Because that is not something I would expect. This is a very popular package. Okay, I think, is this, yeah, this is on GitHub. Click this also button, fork me on GitHub. Go here, make a new issue for them, because that would be an issue with Homebrew. I don't know if you actually, Robert, I don't know if you need npm for Homebrew. You might, but I don't believe you do. But I would say go to their repo and create a new issue of you're having trouble installing because, and follow whatever issue template that they have probably. So if we go back to brew, click on that issue. If we click on new issue for a reproducible bug, you could maybe do bug, or honestly, probably, where did they just say discussion? I would say probably create a new discussion would be where I would start as well. And also how to install Homebrew on Mac 1013. Maybe also search this for your specific macOS version before even creating an issue is probably what I would do. Because yeah, this one, brew not being found, that's pretty common. That's an issue with Homebrew. So that's what I would start with. So we have made one commit. We need to make more. What was I doing? Whoop. How do we do? Oh gosh. I always copy this. I forget what the syntax is for making a new view modifier. With analytics screen, what do we write in here? Is it content? No. What is the thing? Oh no, we need to make a view modifier. That's it. So if we create structs, analytics view modifier. Create that. Oh no, what is the thing? Sure, we'll look up creating conditional. That's close enough. What is the function that's supposed to be in this view modifier? Here, view modifier Swift UI. Custom view modifier. I forgot the syntax. I thought I would remember it, but I did not. What is it? This one. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Content dot analytics screen name is, we need a, yeah, so this is called view name. Oh, whoops, go back. So they call them screen names, which makes sense. Technically it's a screen, but I'm calling it view name for one, so it's different than also two, so that really we're logging the SwiftUI view itself. So we're pretending like that's what's happening. Okay, what is this? We need to do analytics view, view name. This would be view name. Extension, this modifier, that's what it is. We need to wrap this modifier. Okay, there we go. So don't really worry about what I'm writing. I'm writing it so that, like, if somebody wanted to do this issue, if somebody is brand new and has not contributed, follow literally exactly what I'm doing, because this is how I wanted it to be done. So the whole point of this was I wanted to add this custom view modifier called analytics view, so that if we go to the dashboard view, so you can see up here we had to import Firebase Analytics Swift. I want to get rid of that. Actually, before I get rid of that, let's commit one more time so we can see that all. So really, again, don't terribly worry about what I'm writing here. I was writing it so that's correct, but to stick to more of the Git part, which we're almost there. So we could type git status. We can see with git diff that we added all of those files there. So we could type git commit. Because you can see it's not staged for commit. You can type git add, but also another shorthand is am, which adds everything and then creates a message. Create new view modifier called analytics view. I think I spelled analytics wrong. Analytics. Okay. So we have committed that. So if we type git status, we are one commit ahead. Now we can just type git push, hit enter, and it works. We did not have to spell out origin 197 analytics. So now we refresh, we should now be 2 commits ahead. And that's how you do that. So we created the commit locally first, and then you have to push it to GitHub, so GitHub knows it's there. It just does not happen automatically. If you use some GUIs, it might happen automatically. So that's also why I'm using terminal for this kind of tutorial, is because for everybody, it will be the exact same if you follow all the terminal steps. Okay. So we did that. The last thing is, the whole point of doing this was so you can get rid of importing, because we had to import something on every single view, and I think that's annoying. So instead of logging analytics screen name, we're gonna keep that part though. So instead of logging analytics screen name, we want to log analytics view. The view name would then be this self.self, which will give you the dashboard view. Side of a string literal. Ooh, interesting. Wait, so if I get rid of... No, that works. I was just typing syntax wrong. Let's see. Does the project build? It builds. Okay, so analytics view, that is what would show up. So now we do not have to import Firebase Analytics everywhere. It only needs to be imported on this one place. And that is the entire point of this PR. So if somebody is brand new, I may link this live stream to that issue and somebody could watch how to do the entire thing. Okay, so I did it for one view. Technically what you would do is go through all, I listed like 8 of them. So let's commit again, and let's say, what do we call this? Analytics view, use.analytics view on dashboard view. Okay. Sorry, I did that really fast because I typed this all very quickly. So now we want to do git push. And this PR is ready, sort of. As in, technically, it doesn't follow the whole issue, but I did enough that now let's make the PR. So, okay. You can click compare and pull request. You can click that immediately. We can also update this so we can see all 3 commits. So this comes up typically when you're working like right at this moment. It'll say like push less than a minute ago. So it's, do you want to make a PR? Yes, we do. You can click this button. It will do the exact same thing as if we go over to the original repository. Click on pull request. Hey, look, it still showed up here because it knows we're logged in as us, so that we want to make a PR from this place. So again, you can click compare and pull requests, or just click new pull request. This is to make it easier and it will set it up properly, but let's just click on new pull request. Oh, interesting, you do have to make it from, just kidding. So I guess we do have to make it from our account. So if we go to compare and pull requests, or if we go to here, pull request, if we say new PR, there we go. Okay, so you can click the compare and pull request button, and I would suggest you click that button because that is the easiest. But there we go. But otherwise, you can just click on your repo, click on new pull request. Apparently you can't do it on my repo, which I mean makes sense, but here we go. So this says nothing to compare. Why does it say that? Because we are going from this branch into this one. It's kind of like backwards, it's going left, but you can see the arrow. That's pretty much telling you which way this is going. And so we are on basic hardware maintenance dot blah blah blah. This is our repo. You would see your name here. This just, it all says Mikaela because it's all mine. And then we want to not compare dev, we want to compare the new branch we made, 197 analytics. And the reason for this is that's the branch we've been working on. And then you see all of our commits and all of our changes come in. Seems like most of the month is learning how to set up for development. Yeah. Pretty much. Okay, so we know we want to make a PR with this because these are the 3 commits that we just did, and we can see the exact changes. So we only changed 3 files, so that's where all of these are. Before we even create the pull request though, we should look at this and see. You can do split or unified. Actually, that's so funny. I typically look at it in a split view, but let's just look at unified because it is all adding stuff. The PBX project file. This will only change if you add views or move things around. Typically, you don't need to. You don't move things around, really. You'll probably just only add files. So we can see Firebase Analytics extension. That is the file we added, and we just see it show up a couple of times because it's just how Xcode works. But that's all we see is the Firebase Analytics. So that one is good. Let's collapse that one. The dashboard view. We took away this import, which is right. We changed analytics screen name to analytics view. That is correct. And then we made this new file, analytics extension. So that is all the correct changes I would expect to see. So now we go to create pull request, and it tells you, it looks like this is the first time you're contributing. Read the contributing guidelines. Read everything. It's the most important thing you can do is read the instructions, because my repo, because I do aim for beginners for this project, it is very explicit on how everything works. And if you mess something up, it's okay. I'm not gonna like close the PR and say, try it, like, don't commit or don't do anything, because that can happen on bigger repos because they have way more to deal with. Because this is more for beginners, it's okay if you mess something up. So let's go through and see how this works. The first thing we need to do is give it a title. So instead of 197 analytics, we can call it, pretty much we could call it the same thing as the issue. Let's do that. Analytics screen view modifier. Let's say new, sure. What it does, closes issue number. So fill in the issue number. This is issue 197. Go here. Do not do 197 here. Literally fill it in right like that, issue 197, because as you can see here, it comes up. So when we click done, that will automatically complete and make a hyperlink to the issue. So closes issue 197. Describe what your change does. Create new view modifier called, what is this view modifier called? Analytics view. Use the analytics view. On the dashboard view, because I didn't do this for everything. How did you test this? Technically, I didn't, but you would write the steps on how you would test everything. So you can delete all of this and go step by step. Run the app. Go to the dashboard view. Tab. See the log in the console is pretty much what most of that would be. Any notes, anything else you should say about how you did something or what you did, like if you did something weird or whatever you may have done. If you wanted to explain more about how you coded this, you would do it here. Just erase that and type in what you did. If you didn't do anything, just write an A. Add a screenshot. Or you can add a video. It should not be longer than 30 seconds, but also there is a 10 megabyte limit on videos for PRs. So you can't really make something very long anyways. So do that. Otherwise, if you don't have a video, type in A. And let's see, allow edit by maintainers. You should allow this because I edit some people's descriptions. I mean, you don't have to, and I'll just comment on it, but I do edit people's descriptions sometimes if they do it incorrectly so that they can see what the correct way is, so that if they were to make another PR, they'll see how it works. Okay, so we double check. Let's see. We are able to merge. This may not always be red, or be green. It may be red sometime. And we did all this. We filled in the template properly. That is also important. We gave it a good name. So by default, it was 197 Analytics because it was copying the branch name. So we gave it a better, more descriptive name, which is good because that's what shows up in the pull requests right here. So these are all pretty good names. These are all fine. But yeah, some of them, sometimes they're not fine. And I go through and change them because it's fine. I don't care terribly if you mess it up. I'll just change it. And then you can just look at what I changed. And it's not to be rude or anything. It's just to make it easier for me to understand and also for you to understand a good way to do this. And so, okay, we did that. We are double checking. We are going into the dev branch of the main repo from our repo, even though it still says Mikaela Caron. You can barely see it. It has the CWC. We can see also we have the not unicorn profile picture. And we are taking our 197 Analytics branch into dev, which is correct. We've already looked at all the files for everything that has changed. I've collapsed them here. We have 3 commits. Now we can click create pull request. What are the other options? Okay, the other option is a draft. So a draft would mean nobody's alerted that you made the PR and you're just kind of testing something. I could technically totally make this as a draft. I don't care because it's my own repo, so it's fine. But you don't really need to do any draft PRs because a lot of the issues are small enough that that's not needed. But just do create pull request. So we click create pull request. And look at this. We are now looking at the main repository, Mikaela Caron, basic carb maintenance. We see the new PR. And let's see, did this? Yeah. Okay, it had to refresh, but automatically, the way I have the repo set up, it automatically notified me saying, hey, Mikaela Caron needs to review this, so that's why it has the little awaiting review requested here, and it says closes this issue. So this will automatically make it so when you did closes hashtag 197, when we close this PR, it will automatically also close this issue so that they're connected together. Which is correct. We have all this, and then this says 2 workflows waiting for approval. I need to go back and see if I ever want to run any of these automatically, but it's fine. We have no conflicts right now. We are going to go make some conflicts, but there we go. That is what a PR should look like. I would go through as a reviewer, and actually you see the same things here. You can click review changes. That's so funny. You all cannot click approve or request changes. I can as the maintainer on my other account, but I will go through and comment on all of these changes. They all look good, and then you will see it. So let's see what that would look like. If I go, let me find my other account. One new PR. Let's see, what do I want to change? We'll do that. Okay, so I'm reviewing my own PR. And I'm making one comment. So if I go and request changes, this is literally actually what all my PRs look like. Oh, where's the file? Hang on. Okay, so I click submit review, and I did a review with request changes. So now let's go back to this repo. Okay, so I just submitted a PR, and this is what you would see on your side after you get a PR review back. So we see it has Mikaela requested changes and then request re-review. So that is what I show here. Is great work. I have several comments that need to be resolved. If you have any questions, comment directly on that thread. Otherwise, click the resolve button once you've addressed the comment. Once you fix everything, click the re-review button. And I took a screenshot of this one time, and I have just used this screenshot over and over for everybody because some people don't know what button this is. That's the re-review button. So after you fix everything, click that button. I will be notified that you put the review up. Otherwise, don't click it until you're done. So what I mean here, you can comment directly on that thread. I made one comment here. So I made a comment, does this need to use string interpolation, or can you pass directly self.self for this change? And you could say, I'm not sure, let me check. You don't really have to say that, just fix it if you can. If you are confused about it, then comment on it. But otherwise, if you fix this directly, just click resolve. When you click resolve, it just goes away. You can see the resolved. It says like show and hide, or you could unresolve this, meaning like I said, can you do this? You go fix the code, make a new commit. If it all works, just click resolve, because otherwise I have to go through and just double check that you did everything that I pointed out. Just go through, click resolve. If you have a question, ask a question. So instead of this, be like, why? Don't say why, but we'll say why. And we resolved it anyways, so pretend we did something. But in the time between you doing something, so now you can click the re-review button again. So we click review, we can see now again it's back in review because that like changes button thingy went away. It's back in review, so you'd have to wait for me to look at it before you do anything else. But let's say there was a change to the main repo. and something has changed and we need to update those changes for our branch. So we can see right now, this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. Let's make some conflicts, or let's make some issues. So, not issue as in GitHub issue, let's make an issue where we do update that branch. So let me go to this. Let me see which one of these PRs. I think I was almost ready to merge. I'm looking for a PR that I can't remember if I was ready to merge it or not. Okay, I am just instead going to directly make a commit. I was gonna wait on this because I know it's gonna cause one specific person an issue, and I didn't want to make a merge conflict for them, but I will just tell them, hey, watch this video, and we will see some changes. Okay, so, where do I want to do this? Because now I'm logged into a different account on my GitHub and on my local machine right now. I was gonna fix one of these. Let's just go through. I'm gonna just delete that to do. Okay, because that'll be a simple change. Where is that main tab view? I am going to do this on GitHub, which really you should never actually directly use GitHub because you don't need to, but also you need to build your change to make sure it works. I'm going to do this because I know it will work, but that's okay. So we need to go to main tab view. Shared, where's main tab view? It's in main view. Okay, where is this? Line 48. To do, to be deleted. I'm just gonna delete that comment. Update main tab view. Remove to do. And I am committing this directly to the dev branch because this is my repository and I can. So that is going, there's more CI that is also running, but that is pretty much what just happened for, if you would see a change from somebody else, it'll be bigger, of course, but let's pretend that just happened. So for one, if we go to our, let's see, we have everything opened. GitHub, basic car maintenance. Oh, not open that one. We want to open our fork. Okay, so we would see this again. This branch is one commit behind dev, and we would need to sync this fork again. But in reality, what we're really looking at that I wanted to show is if we refresh this to make sure. Okay, we still have no conflicts with the base branch, but ours is outdated. That's why it's saying this update branch. It doesn't really say anything else. If there were merge conflicts, we would see them here. We're not going to because I don't want to make one right now, but, or I could make one. There's a lot of tutorial. I don't want to because I don't want to mess up that issue, but we could make a merge conflict. But basically, what is this called? Our branch is not updated for the change that updated on dev. So we know this is behind for one, and we know our 197 branch is now also behind because we haven't updated either of these. So now we need to go and fix this out of date part. And this would happen, typically it'll of course be bigger than a single line, but it will 100% look like this, especially after I go through and like merge PRs and stuff. You'll see this is behind X amount of commits. So what we can do first, let me see, git remote-v. Yeah. There's a couple ways you can do this. The easiest, though, is first step is syncing the fork. Okay, so first step is syncing the fork. So this will update our dev branch, which is why when we did our commits, we were on a different branch. So first, let's sync this. So if we click update. Okay, now our fork is up to date, but we need to update our local machine as well. So if we do git checkout dev, okay, so you saw it said like there were changes for a minute. That's just Xcode freaking out for a minute because it has to like reload the packages, and that happens. You shouldn't commit that mostly unless I add any more packages, which I don't think I am at the moment. I think everything is in there that needs to be up until I'm about to do paywall stuff, but that'll happen later. But okay, so if we type git status, it still says we're up to date, but if we refresh this, it'll say up to date. Yeah, it still says up to date, but in reality, this one is actually not up to date. If we look at git log one line, this says log analytics view, but reality, the last commit is actually remove to do. So the reason this says up to date, but it's not up to date is because it doesn't know that it's not up to date. So what we have to do so that it is up to date is you would just type git fetch. If you hit enter, it kind of just looks like we fetch from remote. I think those are commit numbers on dev, but now if we say git status, now it figures out that we are no longer up to date anymore. So if we type it again up here, now it says your branch is one commit behind behind the main repo, or not the main, but your remote. So it tells you type git pull, and that's what we will do. So now your local branch knows it's behind. So now we can type git pull. We could have typed git pull directly, but it kind of doesn't matter dramatically. But git fetch, if we look what this says, git fetch downloads objects and refs from another, which basically means all git fetch does is looks at what might be outdated, but it doesn't do anything. Git pull does something. It pulls down the changes and makes sure you are in dev, because we are pulling the changes into dev first. So git pull. Okay, we updated from that commit to this one. Fast forward. It's just a one-line change. That's correct. And now we need to update our branch that we had. So we were on 197. That also needs the updates, because this is where there could be a merge conflict. I'm not going to make one at this moment, but that's what it would look like. So we need to first check out our branch. So git checkout 197 analytics. It is up to date with origin 197 analytics, which is true. But now we need the changes from dev into our feature branch, is what this is really called. So we have to merge dev. So we are checked out on 197 and we want to do git merge dev, and this would merge the dev branch into 197 analytics. Hit enter. If you don't have, or if you do have git set up the way I do in terminal, we are now in Vim. I literally only use Vim for this one thing only, and that is it. If you have your Git terminal set up differently, this might open a VS Code or some other text editor. So this is typing what the commit message is. The commit message is going to be git merge branch dev into 197 analytics. These are all comments, so don't worry. Don't worry about this X thing. This is just Vim. So if you hit enter, the merge made by Ort, I forget what this is. It's some kind of strategy. There's like a couple of them. We got this one change and then file changed. So now if we do git status, we are now 2 commits ahead of 197 analytics because we haven't pushed yet. And we can also see if we on the main tab that no longer is there. So now we just do git push, hit enter. We pushed our changes so we can refresh. Now this branch is 4 commits ahead, where you could briefly see it. We are no longer behind. But if we go back to our PR, refresh this, scroll down, We can see merge branch dev into 197 analytics. We just did that. And that update branch button is no longer there because we are updated. So there will be, what are they called? There will be merge conflicts for some people, and you will have to figure out how to resolve those. And I think there's a lot of videos on merge conflicts. Maybe I'll do one later. I kind of don't want to right now. But that is how you update your feature branch with changes from dev when you have like an open PR like this. Otherwise, if you were not working on a feature branch and you only had dev, all you have to do is sync the fork that you were working on by clicking the sync button, which we're not going to do that one here, but dev. You would click the sync button, which, do we refresh? Will it be there still? Yeah, it says up to date. You would click the sync button and then just do git pull and make sure you're on dev, and that's it. This branch is not behind. Yep, that's right. And so that is pretty much it. That is how it works for committing to open source, creating a PR, and actually going through the literal steps of making your PR and updating your branch after there have been changes. So that is all I had planned. Does anybody have any questions? I'm writing down these timestamps, so hopefully I go back and anything? If not, that is about it. That is all I had. And those are the full steps as a contributor, how you would get started with this project and work on something and make a new commit. I may drop this link in this issue and just be like, this is exactly what I want you to do. Michael, thanks. Yeah, thank you. I will drop this here for anybody, because if you would like to buy me a coffee, it is much appreciated. But buy me a coffee while I'm still on stream, it will show up there, which is always fun because you get to actually see it live, which is always appreciated. But if not, that is totally fine. You can do that. You can just go and contribute to this repo if you would like. So we have 40 people. I'm kind of hoping we get to 50 by like the end of the month. That's kind of my goal. There's a lot of PRs open. I think some of those are first-time contributors. So I think we'll at least get to like 43. Don't know about any extras. We'll have to see. But that is everything. Trying to think, typically I stream for about 2 hours, so we technically have like about 15 more minutes. You just deleted 20 duplicate files from a project. Oh, that's a lot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should cover. I don't know. I can't think of anything. So then, I think that will be it. So thank you to everybody for joining. I was messing with the sound. Thank you to everybody for joining. I'm gonna sign off here. But that is how you contribute to an open source project. Oh, someone bought me a coffee. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, it says someone because you remained anonymous, which is totally fine, so that's why it says someone. See you later. Can you give quick explanation of something? Yes. See you later, Kevin. Yes, have fun writing your test. Good luck to all your students who have to take that test. And yes, right before I sign off, a quick explanation of MVC versus MVVM. These are architectures, and my app at the moment is in MVVM. MVVM is model view view model. MVC is model view controller. It's used a lot with UIKit. MVVM is somewhat-ish more used with SwiftUI. And they are pretty much just different places to put code for like the responsibility of different things. So it depends if you want to put code in a controller versus in a view model. That's kind of the point of all of it. It's just where you really separate and put different pieces of code. but what you use just depends on the project. But there, it goes more in depth, but the end goal is you're just putting the responsibility of code somewhere else. So hopefully that's a quick explanation. If it doesn't make sense or you want more detail, for one, you can also Google that. It's a pretty hot topic, but also you could just DM me on all my social media. They've been floating up there, or you can also find it in the link in the description below. But also, thank you to everybody. Thank you to the person who bought me a coffee. I appreciate it. I hope this stream is useful, and I will probably link this in the README, or I'm probably going to put it in the contributing file as someplace everybody can go to go through all of these steps, like from the beginning. We went through forking the repo, we have cloned the repo, we have checked out a new branch, we have put up a PR, we did update our feature branch after changes were made, and that's it. So that will be it. So thank you again to everybody for joining, and I will see you probably, the next stream will be Friday. What day is today? Today is Saturday, because I'm streaming on a different day than I normally do. Today is Saturday. I will probably again stream next Friday, most likely. And Hacktoberfest is almost over, so everybody, you have like 10 days. If you want to contribute something, you have 10 days to do it. So thanks again to everybody, and I will see you on the next stream. Bye!